Squeaky. Go squeak. There you go. All right. Cool. This is the second time I'm trying to do this video. I've already done it once. And it just stopped on me. And then even now it says I have almost 20 minutes of me broadcasting after it stopped. But you go into the video and it's like 4 seconds long. Pretty weird. Maybe coincidence. I don't know. But I'm going to try to do this as succinctly as possible because last time I was pretty meandering and off topic as per usual. But yeah, this is 2015 to like 2021 of me living with my ex, dating my ex, and all the weird things that happen in between that time. The two little ones are dream journals, and the two big ones are just kind of documenting. Well, both of them kind of document like the incidents in question. Oh, great! I'm missing my paper. I have like a list where I go through all the dates of the major events that happened, and there are quite a few of them. That's weird. It's weird. I gotta go get it. Yeah, I swear I put that in my one of the notebooks, but apparently I didn't. So all that is what happened. Yeah, so hopefully this goes a lot better now that I'm hardwired into the router. Also, I updated my RAM from 16 to, or sorry, 8 gigahertz of RAM to 16, which is the max this old computer can handle. But I think I'm gonna have to do live from my living room from now on because this is way better so far, at least. In fact, let's see my connectivity health. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why my Wi-Fi is so spotty, but it's terrible. I spend it's like $110 a month, and it's just horrible Wi-Fi. Okay, so let's just jump into it, man. It's a spider on my TV. So I started talking to my ex back in 2015. We met in Dearborn, Michigan. I was still living in my brother's house in his basement because I moved from Billings, Montana to Jackson, Michigan here, and hopped on the dating apps pretty heavily back in those days. I don't really have much interest anymore, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so I started talking to my ex, and eventually we decided to meet up, as you do, in Dearborn, Michigan, in an awesome an awesome Middle Eastern restaurant. And I kind of mentioned I was into the paranormal, and she was too, and she also had a lot of experiences that were very weird. I want to do a proper video about all this, but it's going to take a lot of work writing the script and outlining stuff. But I want it to be like I want my videos that I upload on this channel to be actually very professional. I also want my streams to go well, so they're actually watchable. I'm gonna have to delete the last one because it's 4 seconds long, and so it's nothing. Even though it says there's 20 minutes there, there's weirdly not 20 minutes there, but I'm sure it's just a technical thing. It's not anything weird, right? But anyway, back to the date. So she kind of goes into all the things that she's experienced, like when she was pretty young during her formative years, I'd say like 15, maybe 13. She was doing laundry. And she looks over and she sees like a little girl. I think she even mentioned like she had felt a bit of a presence in the house where this took place. But one day she finally saw an actual apparition, which impressed me because I've never seen anything in my life. I gotta be honest, she's probably one of the more witchier, so to speak, human beings I've ever met. Witchier women. Think she has a bit of intuitiveness for this kind of stuff. And ultimately, I feel weird saying this because it's like I feel like I'm judging someone without their s- without them asking me or something. But my conclusion, not to bury the lead, but is that she has some type of energy that's attached to her that's not really full blown evil, but certainly not great. I, and that's a whole nother topic unto itself about like energy attachments, energy beings. But I think that's what these are. Um, because again, not to bury the lead, but during this time frame, I nothing ever happened since she's moved out and we've been split up. Other than one time we got together when we were apart, broken up, and we went for a walk. And go figure, something weird happened. Didn't take place in this house, but a lot of this stuff takes place in this house, especially during the night when we're sleeping, of course, as a lot of that kind of stuff does. But yeah, we were out for a walk in this game type reserve area, and it was kind of cloudy. Next thing we know, we kind of pop out into this field from off the trail, and we notice that there's these weird circular cloud formations. Like think of a donut, okay? But a donut that is turning in on itself constantly. And like I said for my video, I'm going to do like animations and at least illustrations of some sort. But for this one, you almost need to animate it. I could do something pretty easy in After Effects, but the whole thing's going to be a pretty big production. But it'll be cool to actually show what we saw because I tried taking out my camera, of course, which is the first thing you do. It was not picking up for whatever reason. Um, I don't have a very good camera. I don't remember if she had to have. I think we both did. Maybe we didn't. That'd be even more weird if we didn't try to capture this on capture. But that every time we got together, some weird stuff happened. But anyway, so yeah, we're the dinner goes great. Whatever. I go home. Life goes on. The next day, I and this was in December 3rd, 2015. The next day, I'm at my desk down in my office bedroom area, and the door is kind of slightly open because I like to keep it open to kind of let my brother know or sister-in-law know or whoever was might need me for something. They know they can like just hey, can I see you for a second or whatever. If the door is closed, it's like I want to be available if somebody needs me. But anyway, I'm either writing in my journal or editing a video or something, or just watching YouTube and having a drink or something. But anyway, uh, I distinctly hear, and this is an old house too. This house was built in 1936, so it's pretty old. This house that I lived in with my brother might have been even older. It's like in one of the oldest parts of Jackson. But anyway, I hear somebody definitely turn the handle like a jiggle, like a mechanical jiggle. I look over and I don't see the handle moving, but I definitely heard it. Saw the door kind of open up, right? So I definitely saw that open up. heard the sound of the handle. And also, I know what you're thinking, like maybe your door was kind of like halfway shut and the mechanism was stuck on the strike plate. I know for a fact it wasn't. I know it was already pretty much too far out for that because, like I said, I wanted the door noticeably open, so it wasn't resting on the strike plate where the mechanism would be pushed in, right? That's important because I know I'm into debunking and being skeptical and all that. I'm a pretty skeptical person. In fact, I used to describe myself as an atheist, and now I'm more of like a, I guess, agnostic. But I'm more and more believing in like, well, obviously you believe in it, energies, if you will, like sentient energies, good and evil energies, the Tao, whatever, the yin yang. I think that's this religion with the yin yang. But so that was my introduction, and it's almost like that was my introduction to her, and whatever link was starting to happen between us. Because when I tell her this story about the door, um, she's kind of shocked because she goes, "It's so funny you say that," because weirdly enough, she said she was going to open up a drawer, one of those fall down kind of drawers, those tall like councils where you put knickknacks and stuff in, but the top drawer is kind of like a almost like a where you'd put bread or something. I don't know, but she said it was a pretty solid connection, t- tight clasp, whatnot. But she walks up to it to open it, and before she can open it, it falls right into her hand. So again, like, is this symbolic of doorways opening between us? That just came to my head actually. I should write that down. That's good. But yeah, that was the introduction and how we met and everything. The next incident would have been, well, we had kind of a rocky introduction and we were kind of like on again, off again. And she like angrily came over one day to return my key, and she was kind of standing at the threshold of my bedroom as I was like trying to fall asleep, but I couldn't. So she let herself into my house and she gave me back my key, and that was it for us then. It wasn't that long. Well, not too long after that, I have this very vivid Evil Dead like dream where a presence like comes. It almost need to do a house tour to explain this, but I'm not going to, at least not in this video. But it comes through the basement, through the living room, up the stairs, into my bedroom, and then uh it's it doesn't break the threshold. It's her standing in the threshold. Like, I could just sense her. This is a dream, by the way, at this point, but it was like a replay of what happened that day when she was really mad at me. And I know that's like, oh, it's a psychological affect of the whole incident playing out again in dream form, right? But yeah, so she's standing there, just statuesque, like zombie, but you could sense like anger and rage and maybe evil a little bit. I don't know. And behind her is kind of like it's like a corny horror movie, like fake like smoke and stuff, and a red light. Red occurs a lot in this. Now, granted, also she used to dye her hair very fake red color. She's not a natural redhead. She's more of a brunette, brown haired person with kind of light hair actually, naturally, but she always dyed it really bright red. So maybe that's another psychological architect that just was cropping up because of that. Then I had this dream about these red-faced monkeys because we used to spend a lot of time in her apartment, and these red-faced monkeys, this is a dream again, pop up through her window, and in the dream she doesn't really take notice or care about them at all. And I'm like freaked out. I was like, what's going on, man? And I'm like taking pictures of these weird things because we used to take pictures a lot. Again, it's all just, but the thing about the monkey and the red face is significant is because this the particular entity that I think I've had seen, uh, is like this weird monkey slash bird thing with some type of red component. It's like a dream that you've kind of like lost the details to, but there's something red about this thing. Uh, like it wears a red vest. That might be it. But I also might be thinking about like those monkeys that are like show monkeys, performers or something. Maybe the feathers are red. There's something red about. Maybe it's the red faced monkey. I don't know. But the weirdest thing about it is it kind of has like a long neck. It's I gotta, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna do illustrations on this and maybe animations if I feel especially ambitious. Um, 2016. I think that does it for 2016. Moving on to, we have 2 dates for 2017. Which one do I start with? April. Okay. So yeah, let's start. April 24th, 2017. We hear weird sounds from the back door, draining water. Like, I don't really remember the weird sounds we heard, but I vaguely do. But I definitely remember the weird draining water sound. It might have just been the tap from outside, like I had done some watering or something. I hardly use it anymore because I use rain barrels. But that could have just that it might have been nothing. But what was weird was that night, again, back in the bedroom, asleep, dreaming. I have the same Evil Dead dream. I call it the Evil Dead dream because it's like the POV force moving around up from the basement up those stairs and into my bedroom. But this time it crosses the threshold and envelops me in these weird squiggly black lines, right? And for the grand finale, remember the weird squiggly black lines because it's going to come back. Okay. Okay. November 19th, 2007. We were on this very couch. Well, no, it was a different couch, but this is where the couch was. I just got a new couch, whatever. I usually sit right here where I'm sitting, and she'd be over there where she normally sat. Right there, we heard 2 footfalls. In my memory, I only thought it was like 1. Um, maybe one of them was more pronounced, like in it, because the stairs are creaky. It's an old house, right? And you might figure, oh, it's just the old house settling. We heard footfalls compressing the carpet, right? It was not just the stairs creaking because it was settling. Footfalls. 1, 1, 2. So we were wide awake for that. But again, that was one of the more freaky things that's ever happened in this house. But like I said, I have had no incident since. Maybe this will stir it up. I know, like I said, I already tried this before and the stream stopped for no reason and nothing recorded. But I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Hopefully this works this time because I don't really want to do this again. Although I am more to the point this time, so that's good. I guess it was just more of a rehearsal. But I didn't even get through last time. Okay, so we're on to 2018. We have just one date for 2018. Phantom smells, blinds open. Okay, so I remember my ex called me into the kitchen and she's like, "Do you smell this?" And it was a very distinct smell of pine saw. And I was like, "Do we have pine saw? Have you been cleaning?" She's like, "We have pine saw, but we have lavender pine saw." a very different smell from Pine Sol. Pine Sol, again, maybe it's just a smell, whatever, coincidence. But that same day, I don't know if it was before or after because this wasn't my experience, but she claims that she had the blind shut, probably over there because there's a big picture window, and she's pretty paranoid about like people looking in. I don't really give a shit. I leave them wide open, especially since I have a bunch of plants on a plant ladder in front of it. So I don't want as much sun coming in as possible. But anyway, I was like, again, I wrote it off. I was like, maybe I opened them and I forgot because she was persistent. It's like, I didn't open them. I always leave them closed. It's like, okay. And I probably just came home from work or something. And she especially kept all the blinds closed when I wasn't around because, alone woman in the house. Uh, so we're on to 2019. Nothing. Okay. One incident, 2000, two incidents in 2019. First one would be okay. Okay. Well, I guess just for the sake of actually keeping this in timeline order, this was the big one. This was the full on sleep paralysis demon encounter, right? Wake up. Wake up. Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Hmm? Mm-hmm. Okay. February 19th, February 17th, 2019. Uh, okay, so I don't really have any useful notes on that. So I'm just going to have to go from what I can remember. So I'm asleep. I wake up or I'm in a dream. I don't know. I look up and there's this really tall, big-headed black figure, but um it's not totally solid. Parts of it are, but remember when I talked about the squiggles? It's like, do you remember Harold's Purple Crayon, that storybook? They even made an animation of it, and it was just like squiggles. It was just squiggles, but black squiggles. So the big, tall, big head, not totally solid, squiggles again, and something coming from its chest into my chest, like a connective thing. I wrote down in my notes. I'm saying squiggles in the journal entry. It says tendrils. It doesn't matter, but I remember snake-like squiggles, like a Cheeto, like long Cheetos squiggles. All right, and it's like I know I'm awake, and I was awake, and I can't move, but I'm seeing this thing, and I remember this is so cheesy, but it's true. I didn't write this down in the journal entry, but I started saying the Lord's Prayer, I believe, which is funny because I don't remember. I must have just said the beginning over and over again, all the stuff that I knew, or maybe it came to me at the time. But like, Our Father, full of grace, Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou as the thought bread of human women, something like that. That's more like grace, though. What I think that was the one I went with, which is what you say. What is what we always used to say as Catholics, sitting down to eat dinner. I remember because my grandma always made us say it, And I remember my dad used to make a mockery of it, and she used to get pissed. It was kind of funny, but anyway, that seemed to unlock me, and I believe I turned away from it to my ex who was sleeping to my right. We always slept on our respective sides of the bed. I was left, she was right. And that seemed to I was able to like make sounds or something. I was able to wake her up, probably trying to say something, and yeah, it was gone after that. And I told her what happened. I don't remember what she thought about it, but we eventually went back to bed pretty quickly, which is weird because that's insane. I think if I didn't already know what sleep paralysis was, I would have made a bigger deal out of it and I would have been more freaked out. But yeah, I just went back to bed. I'm definitely going to animate that thing because, yeah, that was crazy. Okay, September 17th, 2019. So an entire season passed from winter through summer to fall. Dreamt I was a ghost, so I start screaming to let people know I'm alive. I wake myself and my ex up because I'm actually screaming. So I guess I actually, which I've done before, I've woke myself up talking or saying things in my sleep. Almost for the record, it makes sense that I had sleep paralysis episodes when, I have a history of sleepwalking and everything. And when I was young, I had night terrors all the time. The classic night terrors of like, there's a giant snake it's always a giant anaconda snake in my room. And I got to hit the lights and I always pop up and hit the lights. One time when I was a little kid, I was at a sleepover at one of my friend's house. And I guess they, I would have kept on going if they didn't like turn on the lights and, it's like, "Hey, hey," try like, woke me up because I was literally up out of bed trying to climb the walls of my friend's room, and I think even his mom came down. I was making such noise, and I just wouldn't wake up. So that's a crazy I need to write some of this stuff down. Maybe I'll actually rewatch this video to remember. Um, so we're on to 2020, and this is really where the stuff starts kicking up. Okay, um, the first date would be August 9th, 2020. Creepy old man dream. Again, this is the another situation where I'm having a weird dream and my ex wakes me up. Sorry, my sleep stuff is starting to kick in. I got to make it through though. Um, so the dream is I'm at my grandma's house, the same aforementioned grandma who always made us say grace. I'm walking down the stairs and there's this old man who's like following me, and every time I turn around, he goes, he acts like he's not following me and stuff. And it was just it was creepy and almost comical, but I was freaked out. But anyway, I guess during this um dream, I'm making noises and stuff, and my ex wakes me up and says, "You dreaming? You having a nightmare?" I was like, "I was." Okay. Okay, this is another big one, and this is where I saw uh wait. Okay, it's not in these notes. But this was a big one too. April 16th, 2020. I wrote it down as the feather creature. Remember what I was saying before about like I think this thing is like a monkey bird hybrid thing. Man, I just got to go by memory again because I don't have very good notes on that single piece of paper. It's in the journals. I needed to transcribe them to do the story. But so this was starts out I'm dreaming, okay? And I know my eyes are closed, but I'm being thrown around left, right, up, down. And the dream is so like discombobulated and feeling so real. Like I kind of like wake up a little bit and look, and I see I'm kind of on my side looking towards my ex, and I see like um this feather, this black haze in between us, and a feather kind of brush. It felt like a feather brushed my face. And I also look over and I'm seeing this kid in a hoodie. So my eyes are open at this time, and I'm having like this waking hallucination, or they're astral beings, like I said. It's not that crazy, right? Considering, well, I guess as if it's just like the Sagan saying is like, there's no haunted houses, only haunted minds, right? But anyway, I see this like nefarious looking, like teenage kid, red hair, again red, and he's in a hoodie, just looking down at my ex. So again, instead of it looking down on me, it's looking down on her now. But it's a completely different entity anyway. Well, then I also look over because I think he started to fade or something caught my attention, and it was the entity, the monkey entity, like jumping off the bed. I always wrote it off that like it was one of the cats. We had two cats, and yeah, that's when I saw that thing. 20. That's it for 2020. There are some more things in here, but I don't want to go into those yet, and I don't know how personal I want to get. But there's more weird stuff involving dreams that are like waking dreams, very real, borderline sleep paralysis. And I'm looking at my notes here, and I realize I'm kind of mismatching the dates a bit. We're on to 2021. Okay, yeah. So I think in April of 2021 is when we had a big fight, and my mom had an apartment here in town, and I was like, I'm gonna go stay in the apartment, and I never came home. I let her stay in this house until she could find something because I didn't want to trip her up, and also her brother was paroled from prison, and he needed a place to stay, so I didn't want to blow up their spot and pull the rug out from under them and make life harder. So I was like, I'll just stay in my mom's um, apartment. And on May 17th, yeah, May 17th, 2021, I had this weird dream, and I wake up, and as I'm waking up, I see this witchy white kind of clawed hand, and it's like hovering above my left leg, right? And it slowly goes, and yes, I can't move again. So this was the last sleep paralysis episode I ever had. Hopefully. I mean, they're not fun. They're kind of scary, even though you know what's going on. I couldn't imagine if I didn't know the science behind this stuff, but it's been pretty much popularized these days, this sleep paralysis phenomenon, which is more than likely an explanation of alien abductions, or at least it's the more reasonable one, I'll admit. But I think there's something to it. And like I said, like I've labeled the video, I think it's negative, sometimes positive energies. I think it's like a spectrum, like anything. It's like sometimes maybe I'm lucky enough to ever meet a straight up evil entity. But like I said, I don't think what was is attached. I haven't talked to her in a while. Certainly about nothing deep or meaningful, at least. But yeah, I think since not even though that last episode I wasn't with her, maybe that was very symbolic of the entity saying it's like, okay, I guess we're done with you because you're gone. So the the receding hand was like, it's over. It's gone away. Maybe I'm just being poetic and creative about it, but now that I'm thinking about it, that makes sense, I guess. So, is it over? I don't know. But as far as being over, this is over. And man, I gotta say, thank God. Any live, I guess I'm gonna do lives down here now because this was like flawless. My connection is good the whole time. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is just not good, even though I pay premium dollars for it. But yeah, hardwiring it is the way to go. So from now on, if I do a live, I'll be down here. Uh, I'm so tired. I gotta go to bed, but I gotta lug all this stuff back up into my office. So I don't know. I hope that was pretty interesting and not too boring. Um, Definitely did a better job than last time, at least trying to stick to the point. But yeah, like I said, this is gonna be my first video project, actually properly outlining it, adding production value to it. Like it's gonna be like a mini doc for sure. 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know, maybe longer. Uh, we'll see. So I shouldn't talk about it because you know what they say is like if you talk about something, it's almost like you've already done it. So it's mission complete and then you don't bother. But I definitely want to do it because I think it's interesting. And uh yeah, just like last weekend, that's all I did was I was just going through the time we first started talking till the end, other than like I said, the hand thing was the last sleep paralysis thing, but like even when we hung out to kind of reconcile and get some closure, the weird like get a or Nope UFOs from that movie Nope. Never seen anything like that in my life. Again, maybe it was just some phenomena. It's like the saying is like magic is just future. I'm paraphrasing and totally butchering this. I forget the guy who said it. It's a famous author. Magic is just future technology yet to be realized, something like that. I'm sure people, if they know, they know what I'm trying to say, or what the actual saying was. But but that being said, negative, positive energy, and the dynamic spectrum of that. So yeah, I don't know. Also, when I came home, when they moved out and I came back home to this house, I saged it pretty thoroughly. Uh, do I believe in the power of saging? I don't know. Maybe it's the ritual. Maybe it's the sage. Maybe it's both. Maybe it really does work on energies. I I don't know, but maybe it worked. Maybe it didn't. But that's pretty much where the story ends. So, all right. Good night. Good morning. Goodbye.